Hey everybody, it's your girl Nat Martin, and I just want to come back on here and have a segment with Talk with Nat. This segment is going to talk about my 2-week offline experience. So on December 1st, I deactivated all of my social media accounts. And when I deactivated all of my social media accounts, I had a moment where it was like, can I do this? Should I do this? Am I going to be able to do this, right? Because the way that the world evolves today is like we're almost programmed to always pick up our phone and to go straight to social media. And then a lot of our programming and our messaging comes directly from social media, where you don't realize that what you're feeding into, you're tuning into, what you're turning into. And so I have a bit of control of what I tune into. I have a lot of control of what is on my feed. However, sometimes we can lose control over how much consumption of the world you take in. And one of the things with all of my messages, you guys know I'm everything about empowerment, self-development, self-improvement, loving yourself, self-care, everything. And for the last couple of months, I have been struggling. I have been struggling with a great deal, with a lot of different storms, obstacles, tests, presented itself in a way of good and bad. And so I needed a moment of silence. In the military, we call this a tactical pause. In the Colin Kaepernick era, we're gonna call it take a knee. I needed a moment to myself. I needed a moment to clear my thoughts. I needed a moment to sit still. I needed a moment to block the noise. I needed a moment to just put my head down and block everything and everyone out. And I had a lot of people trying to reach out to me. And when I say my vortex that I created of protection, it wasn't to isolate myself completely in a realm of intentionality. Some of it was not intentional. When you are dealing with battles that are not in the physical world and you're fighting a spiritual warfare, there are things that take place that you have no control over. And I like to think, well, I used to think that I was Superwoman, and Superwoman can do it all. And as a Black woman, we're raised in that mantra of being independent, being strong, being tough. You got this. You don't need anybody. And the truth of the matter is, none of that shit is true. None of it's true. You do need people. You do need somebody. You need yourself. The most important person of it all is you. But if you lose you in the process of becoming, or in the process of operating in the world, then what do you have? So, to be honest and transparent with you guys, because that's just who I am, the honest and transparent coach, is that this year has been a struggle for me. It has been an ultimate struggle for me. A lot of you know my story, my background, the obstacles that was placed upon me that I fought through, became victorious, and won, and became a champion of those battles. Well, as the resiliency queen, the battles don't stop. I'm sorry to bust anyone's bubble, but life is just going to life you. And knowing how to maneuver, knowing how to persevere, knowing how to build that strength up so that you can overcome it quicker, faster, and bounce back, a little bit easier. That's the cheat code. But what no one talks about is that when life is lifing, what is that process? What happens when the tears start flowing? When your feelings start feeling all types of emotions? When you start not feeling like yourself? No one talks about that. We hear the word mental health, and I cringe because of the way the word is portrayed in a negative connotation as if it's something so horrible, when it's a part of everyone, because we all have a brain and a mind, which is your mentality, your mental space. So you want to make sure you have good mental health. But somehow the world has put a plague on that word, and it has made it into this negative, crazy phenomenon of if something's wrong with the person. And then the reaction and response mechanisms that have acquired in people is that it's like taboo. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to touch it. Even on social media, they screen it. My page has been shadow banned. My pages have been blocked because I used to do mental health Mondays. I used to talk about suicide prevention, and I would get the notification that I am against community guidelines. And I'm just confused, because if I want to talk about someone saving their life, that's against community guidelines. If I want to talk about somebody making sure that they're protecting the space that controls their whole body, this is the command center of your whole being, that's violation of community guidelines. So that's in the social world. But then in real life, let's just take the mask off. So many people don't know how to have the talk. So many people don't want to have that type of talk. So many people just walk around as if they are living in a glass house, and then they're throwing stones. And it boggles me, because my life is not perfect. My life has never been perfect. I am not perfect. I have flaws on top of flaws on top of flaws. I operate in a space of intentionality where I intentionally try to be the best version of me each day. I intentionally try to be good and do good deeds and make the best decision for every outcome. But it doesn't mean that in doing that, it's not going to offend someone. It's not going to hurt someone, or someone might not like my decisions or like me. That's not my place to change it. It's my place to make sure that I'm putting good into the world. I'm being a good person, and I'm being a good steward of all of the things that God has brought to me. And I do that. But it still comes with trials and tribulations and tests and storms and obstacles that I have to face at a great scale daily. And in doing so, and making sure that I am on social, sharing my message to you guys, uplifting, empowering, inspiring, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of grounding. It takes a lot of me, because for me, I had a dream since I was a little girl that I wanted to heal the world and make it a better place for you and me. That was a song by one of my favorites, Michael Jackson, but it was something I sung every day, and I believed it, and I still do. So I show up online or in person really meaning what I say, really caring about what I do, really wanting to help change someone's life. And I show you guys and tell you guys my story because I don't have all good days. I don't have all bad days either. And I have fun days, and sometimes I have stay in the bed all day days. And when it's the latter part, I notice that a lot of people shut down. They don't want to come around. They don't want to talk about it. And it frustrates me, because how do you handle your family and your friends, or your coworkers, or your business partners, or your kids if you can't have the conversation? I have been dealt an unfair hand this entire year. I've had people that know the things that I'm dealing with and facing are out of my control. I have no control over the situation. However, I still have to show up. I still have to face it. I still have to deal with it, on top of still being a vibrant, positive, energetic person. And some days when you're facing war every day in combat, it will wear and tear on you. As a military member, we don't send our troops forever in war. So if I'm in forever survival mode, or if you are in forever survival mode, you're going to get to a point where you are going to break. You're going to get to a point where you're going to just not want to deal with none of the shit anymore. And what happens at that point? That's the point that nobody wants to talk about. What happens is this: it gets dark, it gets ugly, it gets muddy, tears, funk, because you don't want to get up, you don't want to eat, you don't want to shower, you don't want to be around people, you get isolated, you get real deep down into those thoughts that you tried to suppress for years. They start to surface, they start to come up, and you have no one around you because people fear the dark. And I don't. I was made in the dark, and I'm the light, and I'm the light to people's darkness. But I don't fear going into the dark, not one bit. I don't fear the battle or the storm. I endure it, I face it, and I get my ass out of it. And this year has been some really, really, really dark moments for me. And people have watched it, and they've done nothing about it. People are watching for entertainment purposes. People are watching for, of just wanting to see me suffer, which I don't know why people are like that, but it's not for me to understand. I know that I had a group. It's called the Power of One. And I used to tell myself when I got in those dark times, Nat, all you need is one person to care. Nat, all you need is one person to help you. Nat, all you need is one. And when I didn't have that one, I had to become my one. And it sucks because you want to feel loved, you want to feel embraced, you want to feel like someone cares. But if no one comes, you can't stay there. And I'm talking to my people that have experienced this or are going through this. If you haven't, my messages might not be for you. And let that be okay. Just scroll by, please. Because the people that have experienced these type of feelings, they understand. So what I am, who I am, what this page and all this stuff is about is me being the one for someone else when they don't have the one. I am the power of one for you, even when I need to be the one for me. So I want to help you become the one for you, even if you feel you have no one. But you got someone now, because you got me. But I understand the darkness can come. But I do also understand that darkness don't last all days. And that's not a saying, because it's just as much as it got dark this last 2 months for me. I got my ass back up. I pulled myself back together, and I became the light again. Sometimes we try to avoid the darkness. Sometimes we try to fight through it and stop it. And I'm telling you, you have to go through it. Unfortunately, it's not easy, it's not cute, it's not what we want, but there is a breakthrough when you're going through the process, and you will make it through. You will make it through. And I know I have lost many to the battle of trying to make it through, and they may have ended their own battles with taking their lives. I understand that so well that I want you to understand it too. When someone takes their life, they're not selfish. They just got to the point where they couldn't battle the battle anymore. They couldn't fight the fight anymore. They could not take one more ounce of breath anymore. I've been there. I had people that have been there, and I endured outcomes that was great, and I had to endure outcomes that wasn't. But I had to understand that, again, you never know what someone is battling. You never know what someone is carrying. That's why I try to be the light to everyone, no matter their title, no matter who they are, what they look like, where they're from. I'm a human being who is a human becoming, and I treat all people the same. And I have been mistreated, I have been mishandled, I have been stalked, harassed, belittled, abused. I've been through it all, and still going through some of that today with social media stalking, character assassinations. A lot of things is taking place that I don't speak about, but it affects me because I know it's not true. And I know that I can only continue to be the light, and God will have to work on those people. But I will not fall victim, nor will I be shamed by nonsense. So I have to pick myself up and pull myself back up and persevere just one day at a time. So if you, my friend, if you are struggling and you are going through a dark time, because not only is it the winter season, seasonal depression is here, missing loved ones is here, grief is here, loss is here, darkness is here. But I want to light your light again. I want you to light the light within you and understand that you will make it through, that you are not alone, and that you struggle just like I struggle, and we all struggle, but let's persevere together. So I'm back. I had someone tell me today that they were concerned that they did something to me, and they thought that I blocked them. And I want you guys to know, I rarely block anybody in my life. You have to really bring a lot of harm to me to block you. But I don't block anybody because you haven't done anything wrong. It was a me needing a me moment. And so my pages are back up so that you guys can still tune in to any past messages, previous messages, because I don't want you to not have the one. If the messages is what you need, then guess what? Nat Martin will give you the messages. If you need to tune back into old messages, they will be back online so that you can tune in to those old messages. I will persevere and prevail day by day, just like you. We only have 24 hours, and we only really have the moment in the now. Time is not guaranteed. Life isn't guaranteed. But what is guaranteed is doing what you have control of in the now. So now I present to you guys back Nat Martin. I'm here. I am going to continue to be here, and I want you to continue to be here with me. So please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment where you're tuning in from, because I want to meet you just like you're meeting me, because we are the one for each other.